Book of Boba Fett finale, episode 7. I let it stick for a little while I was like reading everyone's posts online and reading some of the reviews. Usually, as soon as it's done, I jump on and talk about it. And also, I we all felt it was like a Mandalorian 2.5 series, which we didn't mind because well, we love Mando, didn't Jaren, and we got to see a bit more of Grogu, who we've been calling the child or Baby Yoda, and so that's not a worry because they only probably had 5 episodes of total Boba Fett. And then they wanted to drag it out a little bit. They were like, "Oh, no, people are going to get angry if we only make it 5 episodes." So they made 7. So it had to be a 2.5 Mandalorian just to, drag it out a bit. But there was plenty to talk about, you know. Um, and then we get to see them work together, Mandalorian and Boba Fett, and against the Pikes, and obviously our blue evil creature named Cade Bane, who's in a lot of other series through Star Wars. Which so the character's not a brand new character. Obviously, people know him, so we all know what he's like. So that was not a surprise. It was a surprise to see him in live action because he's always only been animated. But it was pretty good to see him, like, what they can do with something that's on the paper, animation, or the screen, and then bring him to life. And so we were fighting the Pikes as we have been for a couple of episodes, and they're trying to do the spice trade. So we also get to see what is in Grogu's future, because the thing is, remember, he had a really important decision to make whether he goes for the Beskar guard, the wearable, and or the lightsaber, which was Yoda's old one. So I can see we have figured out in the finale which one he picked. I'm not going to say which one he picked, but we will be able to see which choice he picked. So, and the Pike Syndicate pick up from where the Hutt twins left off. So, obviously, remember the gift that the Hutt twins gave to Boba Fett when they decided to leave Tatooine. And that might be a very important thing to keep in mind, that gift. And and we also see Luke Skywalker, probably about circa 1983. And obviously his CGI is way better. I mean, who better to pick than somebody who does YouTube deepfake? And so he's looking quite nice. But if he's going to keep popping up in the series, it's going to take a lot of man hours to do the CGI. But it looks good. It looks really good. And this chapter 7 was in the name of honor. So you know how Mandalorian is always speaking about this is the way. It's, this one was about his honor. And Boba Fett said, "Oh, you should leave. Like, this is not your fight. You've helped quite a lot. Just leave." And he's like, "No, I'm staying here till, we're both gone. So if one of us survives, that's fine. But I'm not leaving until we're both gone. Like, we both are in this." And he was really surprised. And remember, he didn't take any money from Fennec Shand as well. He said, no, this is on the house. I'll do whatever it is that needs to be done. And did anyone see who was in the Bacta tank? So somebody who has been hurt before in the series. I won't tell you who, because then that'll not be fun. And you really need to scan and zoom and take a photo of it or see some of the pictures that are out online. But it's somebody very important. And So yeah, and obviously we lost our little two Gamorreans down the trench. They that wasn't nice to watch, but I mean it didn't need to happen, but it did happen. And we had seen Fennec Shand, shooting off all of the other baddies who are not like baddies in the sense that they're like Cade Bane. They know how to swing gunslinging. They're bad because they're the ones who are like in the politics and setting all this stuff up, which is, yeah, she just obliterates them in one go. And there's a creature with two stomachs who people were making jokes of, and she basically plays to that, and that's how she hurts one of the ones with the two stomachs. And it's good to see that Grogu picked whichever way he did go. So it's really cute. And he got brought there in an X-Wing. And Mr. R2D2, Mr. Blue-White, brought him there. And obviously, did we forget about Boba Fett's baby? Boba Fett's baby is Rancor. So obviously he makes some type of appearance. I won't say what. And obviously Grogu's around, and they have a moment together, but I won't tell you what type of moment. But definitely it was really cool to see this Cade Bane guy coming around. And obviously Boba Fett knew that the blue guy, Cade Bane, obviously killed off his his friends who were the Tuskens. But did we all forget that Boba Fett made a very special Tusken weapon? So that might come into handy. If you haven't seen the chapter 7, I'm making sure that I'm not saying anything too much, but you should have seen it. So there's lots of Cade Bane in Clone Wars and things. He pops up everywhere. So we think that Boba Fett has given him a good whack. So obviously we're hoping that he's dead. So, but there is, if you listen, there's a little bit of a beep on his life support, Cade Bane. So don't know if we're going to see him again. But yeah, when I was watching it, I was like, no, just keep whacking him until we definitely know he's gone. But obviously Boba Fett got busy with other stuff. He's like, no, I think I did a good job, whacked him. I'm going to head off somewhere else. So that was quite interesting. And we remember that the biker gang, the kind of teenage biker gang, Chrysanthemum and a few Freetown people all came and tried to help with the fight. And that is the end of the episode 7 finale for Boba Fett. But there's a lot of like Star Wars to come, which is, I mean, if you've seen on Twitter, recently they've put up Obi-Wan Kenobi is coming, and May 25th on Disney Plus. Everyone is saying, why are they picking this silly place called Tatooine, which we did get through 7 episodes of Boba Fett and Mandalorian, this one, that why would they pick this same spot again for Obi-Wan Kenobi? And people are like, why? There's other places. It's a very vast place. You could pick millions of places to set your story. But Obi-Wan Kenobi is obviously in the Disney Plus, the poster walking through the sandstorm. So obviously we are back in Tatooine. And then we're going to have another Mandalorian season 3, the Bad Batch season 2. Ashoka Tano is going to have A Day in the Sun, Rogue One prequel show, Andor. So, yeah, Ashoka, I'm not sure if she popped up in live action anywhere else, but it was great to see her. and another great lady who was in episode 6 who probably got char grilled. It's nice to see, but I mean, Ashoka, she's a great person with weapons and things. We saw a beautiful lady in episode 6 whose name is Gasa Flip. And we all know what happened to the sanctuary which she was in. And she was a bit of a breath of fresh air because she's so different from everyone else who's there because she's dressed up in her fineries and looking very, a great Gatsby. And it's really good to see that we got to understand further of Boba Fett. But I don't know if we're going to be getting a series 2 of Boba Fett because I think they have fleshed out who he is and who Fennec Shand is, and probably Chrysanthemum and the Rancor. Who are these characters that we could probably pop? They could probably pop into other things, and we don't need to hear any more backstory from them. So I think they did a pretty good job. And a lot of people are saying that episode 6 was like the good, the bad, and the ugly because it was just a little bit theatrical, similar to that. So yeah, Cade Bane turns up into Clone Wars and whatnot. We see him over a long period of time being who he is, and he does a great job. So he's quite old. So, but we don't know if he's dead yet at the end of chapter 7. So, not sure what's going to happen. And in chapter 6, we get reminded through Luke getting into Grogu's thoughts about what happened to him before he arrived, where he arrived, and he had an Order 66 flashback, which is quite interesting because they just turned on all the Jedis who they had tried to make friends with and pretended that they were friends, and then they just turned around and just it was just terrible. Like, they made friends with them going, yeah, you're our friends, and then in 10 seconds they turned around and gunned them down. So it's pretty terrible, and that's what Grogu's memory was when Luke was like, do you remember what happened to you? And Grogu was like, not really. And then Luke's like, if you let me get into your brain and thoughts, we can see a little, hopefully, of what happened. And it's pretty terrible that, if you go and watch the Order 66 on YouTube, I just watched it again because I hadn't forgotten it, but I just needed to feel that awe again of, and they're killing younglings as well, and it's all terrible and so we just need to know where he came from. But Yoda was around at that stage as well. So if Grogu was a baby and he had remembered that Order 66, it's could put them in the same place. Yoda and Grogu being at the similar same place when Order 66 was going on. Because obviously Yoda was in there at Order 66. And what would you have picked? The Beskar, the wearable, or the lightsaber? So, and it takes, after Grogu left, 19 years on from there, is when Kylo Ren kind of kills everybody in that temple that's been built for Luke's academy to teach other Jedis. And then he goes on a rampage about 19 years from the time that Grogu left on the timeline. So we're really happy that Grogu's not around, because 19 years for him would have flown by really fast, because he's only like maybe 60 or 70 years old, but he's still a baby. So a few years in his life is like a lifetime for humans. So he may have still been around if he stayed and did Jedi training when Kylo Ren, 19 years on from that point that we've seen, goes a little crazy. Yeah. And you know from episode 5 what happened. And Boba Fett is played by Tamura Morrison. We all know where he started off from. It's good that they're keeping the same actors in the show as much as possible. And obviously Mandalorian got the black saber properly. And he got the lady Mandalorian to forge the Beskar. And yeah, I've already covered episode 5, so I only need to do episode 6 and 7. I'm going to be watching right now Mafs at 7 p.m., which is going to be the after the Confessions Week, the first commitment ceremony. So that starts at 7 o'clock today. And on the other channel at 7:30, the Australian Survivor will be on. And all I'm saying is there's a lot of Sandra and Nina stuff being posted on all socials. Like, you can't avoid it. So I'm really fearful that one of them is going to go. And like, if one of them goes, like, no one's going to watch the show. People are watching it for, I mean, the drama, but we like these characters and we don't exactly want them to go yet. And there's a lot for the camp, everybody, to learn off them at least. You know, they've got a lot of knowledge which is useful to them. So thank you very much for hearing, because I'm going to go and watch Mafs, and then I'm going to watch Survivor, because it's supposed to be a big Super Sunday of Australian TV from 7 p.m. today, right now. So I've got only about a few minutes to close this off and share it everywhere, and then sit down with my box of wafers. I love strawberry wafers. So I've already got that set, and I'm going to watch those two. And I might do another space afterwards explaining those two. But I usually like to let things sit and settle, and I read reviews. I look at what's been put out, what people are commenting after the show, and then I usually put myself together and explain my thoughts, because this is only my opinion and my thoughts, and I might not have all the information on all the topics. So if you think I've got anything wrong about Star Wars or anything, just go and do your own fact check, and it doesn't really matter, because this is of my own opinion. Thank you very much for listening to Dramedy, Dramedy. If you type Dramedy into Spotify, you'll hear a similar show to this, but I tape it through, I re-say a couple of things and I redo it, because this recording here will go straight to my YouTube, either Shikha Chandra, which is my real name, or Sheik's99. I'll post it there onto YouTube. So I basically take this recording and post it other places, but on Spotify and my podcast, which is called Dramedy, which is the same as this show, I will retape for that podcast soon, and that'll be up. So some of the podcasts, one or two of them, have a pay wave of 49 cents Australian. So it's not a very hefty amount, but on Spotify, some of it's free and some of it's not. So I'll decide if I want to make this a free one on Spotify, which I'll retape soon, fall straight onto the Spotify world, or if I'll leave it free, or if I will put a pay wave. All right. Thank you very much. Goodbye now.